Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how we use the purchases section of Xero. So if we scroll down here, you can see where we get to the section bills you need to pay. So this section, just like we talked about with sales, it's a box that has graphs on who you owe money to, and then a few amounts here as well. So if we just click on bills you need to pay, it's going to open up this section here with the awaiting payment section. Now, again, similar to sales, you can also click on all and you can see paid and unpaid bills. But today we're going to focus on what's not paid. And if we come down here, we've got an example here of BP. And you can see on the right here, it's got a little file attached. Now that file, if we have a look over here, is what's come through from Xero. So for example, you've receipt banked your fuel docket and then we've coded it to the correct account. And then there's a little attachment there that is a picture that you originally had. So every transaction that you receipt bank will have an image similar to this attached to the transaction for your review. So what I want to show you here, obviously we can see what money's owed. Occasionally you'll have something like fuel, which comes out of the bank account a little bit later in Xero than it's actually paid. So for example, BP, we know you're more than likely have already paid that at the service station, and therefore, even though it's sitting under awaiting payment here, it is actually paid. So, we just have to be patient there, and within a day or so, we'll reconcile that transaction and it'll be done. But some of these other transactions may actually be on account. So for example, Smart Agency, that's due on the 45th of September, for example. So let's say we plan to pay that on the 25th September. We can click on a plan date here and actually click the 25th. Now that gives, see at the top there, that's giving us a little cash flow started to begin. And then if we take that a step further and we say that we also want to pay Smart Agency's second fee here, you can see we've got $4,500 coming out here on the 25th September. So what if we take that a step further and we say in October, or on the 12th of October, we want to pay that bill? Well, there you go. You can see again, the cash flow's increased. So what this is really good for, if you use the plan date function, you can see in advance when you're scheduled to pay bills. And that's a really good way to balance your cash flow needs, because you can see, well, I'm going to need just over $2,000 in October, and at the end of September, I'm going to need at least 4.5. The reason this is also good is maybe you're a manager and your job is, or an owner, and your job is to tell admin what invoices you want paid. So you as the manager can go in here and you can say, well, I want you to pay macro cleaning services as well on the 7th. I want you to get this one done on the 7th too. And I want you to pay Bayside Wholesale on the 7th. So then the administration lady knows that she needs to pay these invoices here on the 7th. And that way, it's a good way to separate duties. Another thing I was going to show you here, which is really interesting, if you pay multiple invoices in one transaction, so let's say, for example, we want to pay Smart Agency, which is the same customer, those two invoices at the same time, and it's going to be $4,500 come out of our bank. What we can do is we can click on that batch payment, and that actually picks up those two transactions together and then gives us a reconciliation to pay it. It's a really good way of doing it. I think using batch payments is a great way to keep everything together, and it's also a good way you can send remittances to that customer. So while that's loading up, we're going to click the date we want to pay it. So today, we're going to click the bank account that it's going to come out of. So that's really important. Sometimes you have like 2 or 3 bank accounts. So you want to make sure you select the bank account that the money is going to come out of. So if it's coming out of the business bank account, click that and then put some detail like paid EFT and then put the date. And then if you're paying the whole amount, you can just click make payment. And then when you go to your bank account and you EFT the $4,500 to Smart Agency, that will reconcile perfectly with our records. And then also you can send here a remittance. And this is really good way of letting your supplier know here in that case what's happening. So for example, you can just send it to Michael at iCount Beans as an example and just click send, and then we're going to get a remittance from Smart Agency for that transaction. So that's the way you pick up more than one invoice that you're going to pay at once, and batch payment. And of course you can send a remittance out of there if you want, or you can generate that as a PDF. So guys, that's basically a bit of a wrap on the purchases section of Xero. Hope that's been helpful. We'll speak with you shortly.